Good morning, everyone, and welcome to County Executive Pittman's virtual press conference. This morning, the County Executive will provide updates on the legislation from last night's council meeting and on the budget. We'll take questions after the updates. As a reminder, please put your name and media affiliation in the chat, and I'll call on folks for questions in that order. And please keep your microphone and camera off unless you're called on to ask a question. With that, Mr. County Executive.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Be fairly brief this morning, and then here's some questions from you. Last night, want to report on some progress at our county council meeting. They started out with a resolution that I just want to note, congratulating Anne Arundel County Public Schools on increasing graduation rates beyond the 90% threshold. And that doesn't happen by chance. That, I believe, is a result of really difficult and great work by our school system, and support by county government and the residents of Anne Arundel County for our school system. Bill 1622 passed last night, 6-1. That was the bill to implement the Police Accountability Board mandated by the Police Accountability Act that the Maryland General Assembly passed last year. And this bill had many amendments that were considered, a long community engagement process, stakeholder meetings in advance of the bill to let people know exactly what was authorized by the state of Maryland. This is a system that has been created for all counties that everybody is required to adhere to. And it is also something that we've talked about in this county in the past. I remember when I interviewed police chiefs, one of the questions was asking their views on having some sort of a civilian review board in our county. And this Police Accountability Board is that review mechanism. So there will be 9 people appointed, county residents, to this board. It must be seated and ready to take any complaints against officer misconduct by July 1st. And we will be able to meet that deadline thanks to the vote last night, getting this bill over the finish line. The board will make policy recommendations to me and to the county council and to the community on policy related to policing. It will accept complaints from citizens against police officers for misconduct and pass those complaints on to the relevant law enforcement agency, whether it's the Anne Arundel or the Annapolis Police Department or some of the smaller departments in the county. And it will appoint a chair and a charging committee that will review those investigations and make decisions about what the outcomes should be. The application form, the first phase of the applications to residents is already out, and we have 111 applications already submitted. That process, that application portal will remain open until May 1st. So people who want to serve on the Police Accountability Board can still apply. We'll have them seated in time to be able to be ready to operate by July 1st. Another bill that passed last night related to the Police Accountability Board was authorizing hiring an executive director and an assistant. That was Bill 2422, and you'll see in our budget funds to do just that. So we will get to work in that process as well. So we look forward to building a system that we believe will increase transparency, increase community engagement, and ultimately build trust between community and police in a time where we need that desperately to be built. Another bill that passed last night was a bill to acquire land to expand Severn Danza Park in West County. And we look forward to getting to work on that project as well. And then finally, I want to mention Bill 3022, which is we call the Open Data Bill of Anne Arundel County. When I took office, I created the Arundel Stat team and the Open Arundel Data portal to monitor performance metrics of our county departments and make them available to the public. And we put that into code so that that operation and that work will continue on indefinitely in Anne Arundel County. So glad to see that pass as well, 7-0 by the county council. And then finally, we have the county FY23 budget. just about ready to go to the county council. I will be proposing a budget, making it public next Thursday, a week from Thursday, April 28th at 11 a.m. That's one day before it's required. On Friday morning, I will be presenting that budget to the county council, and they will have an opportunity to question the budget office and hear a presentation on the details of that budget. I want to note that, first of all, it's going to be a budget that I'm very proud of. The AAA bond rating that was upgraded in Anne Arundel County by Moody's shows that our county is in better fiscal condition than it's ever been. It took us 50 years to get that rating. And you will see in this budget that it's the kind of a budget that you can present to a county council and to the public if you have outstanding fiscal management in your county. And that's what we've done. We have yesterday just launched a new open data portal called the Budget Buddy, Budget Data and Development Explorer. And Steve Taru in our budget office created this. We had a lot of proposals from consultants to charge us many hundreds of thousands of dollars to do something like this. And the budget office did it. Steve Taru did it really at no extra cost to the taxpayers of Anne Arundel County. We've all seen the signs around Anne Arundel County that say, because it is your money, the McMillan signs. And I want to echo that and say that that's exactly why we created this open budget tool where our taxpayers can go in and look at every dollar that comes in to the county and through which source it comes, and every dollar that gets spent in every department of county government. And it's an extraordinary simple tool where you can drill down into any department in any category that you want and see how our funds are being spent. So what you see is a FY22 budget. As soon as the county council passes the FY23 budget, that will go live in its place. And our residents, when they come to our budget town halls and make their voices known, will be better informed advocates for what they're asking for because of this budget tool. So you can go to aacounty.org/buddy, the Budget Buddy, BUDDE, and take a look at that now. So I want to, before we move on to questions, turn it over to our health officer, Dr. Nilesh Kalyanaraman, with some comments about the latest COVID numbers.
Thank you, County Executive. I wanted to give an update on COVID and where we are. We're seeing that our case rate over the weekend was 8. It's down to 6, and it's been what we're seeing here in Anne Arundel and in Maryland is that we're seeing kind of a continuous level of cases. We're not seeing the surge that some other areas are seeing, and I want to reiterate what we're doing to really keep this from growing larger. And we have all the tools we need to be able to manage this. We have vaccines. It's not too late. If you haven't gotten your first dose of the vaccine, go ahead, get that. It's available in pharmacies, health department sites, and other places. And if you're eligible for a booster, get that as well. That's what's really changed the curve. Of course, at-home tests are tremendously helpful in helping people diagnose quickly. So if you have symptoms, get tested either with the at-home tests or by PCR. And I think crucially, if you have COVID, and we know that people are not as aware of this, if you have COVID and are at higher risk for severe disease, if you have any chronic health issues or you're older, see your doctor or go to an urgent care center right away. They can prescribe oral treatment that will help you fight COVID. This just came out a few months ago, and it's really being underutilized. And it's a really important tool that we have to help decrease the severity of illness in those who are at higher risk for it. So by using those tools, and then lastly, masking. So if you're at higher risk or if you've been exposed to somebody who has COVID, use those masks for a short period of time as you need it, right? It's not, do we mask all the time or never? It's mask strategically when you need to. Between these 4 tools, we can really control COVID and keep ourselves from seeing the surges that other places are seeing. So with that, I will turn it back over to you, Jeff.
Thank you. All right, now we'll go over to questions. As a reminder, please put your name and media affiliation in the chat, and I'll call on folks for questions in that order. All right, last call for questions. Name and media affiliation in the chat. Rob Lang, WBAL.
All right. Good morning. Let me first ask Dr. Kaloranaman. We heard the announcement yesterday that the mask mandate on planes, and I know BWI marshals in Anne Arundel County. There's also public transportation, that the mask mandate for airports, airplanes, public transportation has been is ruled unconstitutional. Many places lifted. Give me your thoughts on that.
I can't really comment on that court decision. I will tell you that in transportation settings where we're still bringing people together, we do trust the CDC in terms of making that sort of determination. I know that there's more to that court case, so that's kind of where I'm at on that.
All right. Quick question: the county executive on his budget. Any tax increases this year?
You'll find out next week. Sorry, I'm not gonna comment on any of the specific expenses or revenues or sources.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Rachel Pasella, the Capitol.
Hey, yeah, and I suspect you might also defer this question till next week with the budget as well, but I thought I'd try. I'm writing about the ongoing bus issues in Anne Arundel County. As you know, there are still buses every day that are not providing service to students. It's something that you've been vocal about in the fall, asking for incentives to keep drivers. What have you done on the issue since then to help make sure that this issue is, solved when schools open next fall?
I will go ahead and comment on that. Sorry, Rob, I'm going to contradict what I just said. We will fully fund the school board's budget requests for pay increases for bus drivers. That's an obligation that we made when we stepped up earlier this year with the retention bonuses and the hiring bonuses, that we would fund the school board's budget requests for that. They made a request and it'll be in our budget. I think there's nothing more important in our school system than getting the kids to school, and we're still not quite there. There has been progress made, and we know that, like any other workforce, you have to make the job attractive to people. And so pay is a big part of that. It's been historically an underpaid position. And so we're stepping up there.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Name and media affiliation in the chat. All right. We'll wrap up there. See y'all soon.
Thanks.